Take you live now to Ottawa, where federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is speaking. Let's listen in.
Public and independent. Public and independence are two things that we need in any investigation. What does Justin Trudeau do? Exactly the opposite. He wants a process that is secret and controlled. Secret and controlled. Secret because he wants it to be in committees that hear evidence and secret proof, secret testimonials, and secret results, controlled because it's his office that's in charge of determining what can be in the reports of these committees. He doesn't want the truth because he doesn't want Canadians to know the truth, because he knows that he will be involved in the scandal of the Beijing authoritarian government. The only vigorous investigation he wants is to target whistleblowers. That's what he does. It's not to protect our democracy from foreign involvement. It's to protect himself politically by targeting and by destroying whistleblowers. Brave whistleblowers who published these secrets already. So the Conservative government will continue asking for an independent inquiry that is public, and in the meantime, we forced a parliamentary investigation. We're asking the NDP to stop shielding the Liberals and the testimonials of the parliamentary committee. That's what we need. We need the truth. We need to protect our own interests, our own national interests here in Canada. Thank you very much.
The authoritarian dictatorship in Beijing has been supporting Justin Trudeau. They started by giving $200,000 to the Trudeau Foundation. They helped him in 2 consecutive elections. He's known about this for a decade. Are you telling me he didn't know that Beijing gave $200,000 to the Trudeau Foundation? Are you telling me that he didn't know that they interfered in 2 consecutive elections? Of course he knew. He was briefed multiple times, and he kept all of those briefings secret. And then, when he got caught, he hired the former CEO of the same Trudeau Foundation that had received the money from China to write a report about it. And now, he's trying to cover it up again with a secret process that he controls. We want the opposite. He wants a secret process. We want an open process. He wants to control it. We want it to be independent from him. And oh, by the way, he's going to appoint a special rapporteur, which of course will be another establishment Liberal appointed by him that will come out and say everything is fine, let's just close the book and move on and let the dictatorship in Beijing once again interfere to help Justin Trudeau get re-elected. Conservatives want exactly the opposite of closed and controlled. We want open and independent. An open, independent, public inquiry to get to the truth and make sure it never happens again. We need to bring home control of our democracy, bring home control of our country, rather than allowing foreign dictatorships to manipulate our interests. We know that Justin Trudeau admires the basic communist dictatorship in Beijing. He said so. So it's no wonder they support him and they have worked hard to keep him in power. But we want the truth to come out. And we are going to continue to fight for that truth. We also want to bring home control of our economy. We know that the President of the European Commission is here today. Europe needs our natural gas. When Trudeau took office, we had 15 proposed natural gas export terminals on his desk. Not a single one has been completed. And the Japanese Prime Minister, the German Chancellor, now the European Commissioner are already all asking for our natural gas. And he's saying, no, go get it from Putin. He's helping fund foreign dictatorships by shutting out our industry. A Conservative government led by Pierre Poilievre will quickly approve natural gas exports so we can shut down coal fire in Asia and replace it with clean gas, and replace European dependence on Putin with our clean, responsible energy. In other words, we'll turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. We will bring it home. Thank you very much. I welcome your questions.
Vous avez parlé des dénonciateurs comme étant des dénonciateurs courageux.
Whistleblowers as brave whistleblowers, which is opposite to the laws revealing secrets. So why do you support their process? It's incredible that security services are so worried that they want to take these risks for their personal interests to expose the attacks against our democracy, which Justin Trudeau is trying to hide. It's incredible. In the history of our country, we've never had a security service that was so concerned with a prime minister and his collaboration with a foreign power, that they're willing to publish this type of information. Obviously, it's been years where these services have tried to warn the prime minister, but he did nothing. He actually encouraged foreign involvement because it was in his interest and the interest of his party. So obviously, the priority should be to stop foreign involvement, but the priority of Justin Trudeau is to persecute the people who have exposed this involvement. It shows again that the priority of Justin Trudeau is to protect his own political interests.
I should just say that in English. It is actually incredible that we have this uprising at our intelligence body. This has never happened before. They must be very worried about how the Prime Minister is working against the interests of his own country and his own people. They've been warning him for years about this. And what has he done? He's covered it up, even encouraged it to continue. And so they are so concerned about how the Prime Minister is acting against Canada's interests and in favor of a foreign dictatorship's interests that they are actually releasing this information publicly. And what is Trudeau's priority? Not to stop the foreign interference. No, that's not the problem for him. The problem is the whistleblowers. He's against a real investigation into the foreign interference we know happened, but in favor of a tough police investigation into the whistleblowers who are exposing it. This is the Trudeau's approach. This is exactly what he did, but it's exactly what he did with Jody Wilson-Raybould. She spoke out against him helping a Liberal company get off criminal charges. He didn't go after the corruption. He went after the whistleblower. Same with Mark Norman. He spoke up, a respected admiral spoke up against Liberal corruption in the issuance of multi-billion-dollar contracts. And did he go after the corruption? No, he went after the whistleblower. He always stands up for the corruption, against the whistleblower, and in this case, against Canada's interests.
How do you have a public take part in any of these reviews? I'm thinking about the Intelligence Committee. Is your party going to take part in any of this?
We're not going to remove ourselves from any of these reviews, but we're going to continue to demand an independent and open public investigation.
Are you saying that there is nobody that can act as a special rapporteur that will meet your
well, we'll see,
standards?
but we know the last few times, he picked a Liberal staffer to oversee the Emergencies Act review. He picked, if I could, well, of course he could pick someone independent, but he won't. He'll pick another Liberal establishment insider, a real Ottawa insider with some gray hair, who looks like a reasonable fellow, but we all know that it will be someone tied to him, tied to the Liberals, here to protect the Liberal establishment, just like the former head of the Trudeau Foundation that received money from Beijing, whom he named to oversee the report on Chinese interference.
Of your nomination processes in the Conservative Party? Have you ordered a review of your own nomination processes in the Conservative Party as a result of all these revelations?
We've told the party that we need to stand up against any form of foreign interference, and if anyone brings it to my attention, I will root it out. And furthermore, I would encourage CSIS to tell leaders of all political parties if there is any attempt by any foreign government to interfere or infiltrate their nominations or their election campaigns. And if I ever see evidence that there has been, I will act aggressively to put an end to it immediately, which is exactly the opposite of what Justin Trudeau did when his top campaign officials were briefed about evidence of interference by Beijing in one of their nominations.
Will you boycott or will you help picking a special rapporteur?
We've told them we don't think there's why do we need a special rapporteur? What does this rapporteur even do? It sounds like a fake job. We need someone who actually has a real work plan. And what we said is we need an independent and open investigation headed by someone approved by all parties in the House of Commons, not another liberal establishment Ottawa insider.
On the committee, so you're saying you're not going to remove yourself, you're not going to remove your MPs from this review. Can you tell me if there is a review, you will take part in it then? You will participate?
We're not removing people from anything. We're going to demand more.
How do you have an open investigation, a public inquiry, when we're dealing with CSIS and national security secrets? Even the former campaign director of your party for the last election has raised doubts about the practicality of that actually working. So how could that work in your mind?
These things happen all the time when there are matters of sensitive to national security that end up in the court of law. Judges can find a way to put in place a publication ban to protect information that is that needs to be protected in order to preserve the national security. That happens all the time, and that's why you have to. The public should get all of the information. The bias should be in favor of more information, not less. Only the information that could imperil our national interest should be withheld, but that is a very small amount, and Canadians should be able to know how the dictatorship in Beijing interfered in order to help Justin Trudeau stay in power.
Yesterday, MCCOP, you called it a trap and a trick that Trudeau would bring in MPs from your party, and
they're already in.
Well,
No,
but you're going to participate in something.
So if I
called a trap and trick.
could correct the falsehood in your question, the question was yesterday was whether I would go in and personally get briefed about secrets of the state.
But how is that
and the answer, if I could answer your question, and the answer I gave was, of course not, because then I would use that to silence me from speaking out any further. It would then become illegal for me to speak out. Now, how is that different than the current so-called NSICOP committee? We already have 2 members of Parliament who are sworn to secrecy who are on that committee. It hasn't been very effective, but it's better than nothing. But what we actually need is an independent and open public investigation to get to the bottom of interference by Beijing or any other foreign dictatorship in our democracy. It's time to bring home our democracy. Thank you.
We've been listening to federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre speaking with reporters, taking a lot of questions about this alleged political interference and how he's calling for a national public inquiry.